Are you just tired of the diet roller coaster? You know the one, that endless loop of starting a new plan, doing everything you're told, only to end up right back where you started, maybe even a little more frustrated? Well, let's talk about it. Because today, we're going to explore a totally different way of thinking, one that's all about slow, sustainable change, not another quick fix.
This quote, wow, it just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's not about being physically tired from a workout. This is a deep mental and emotional burnout. It comes from trying so hard, following all the rules, and still feeling like you failed. But what if the failure isn't yours at all? What if the entire system is broken?
So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to get real about dieting burnout. Then we'll expose the big issue with most diet plans. We're calling it the prescription problem. After that, we'll shift gears and talk about the solution, the power of making really small changes. We'll also cover why it's so important to know who you're getting advice from. And finally, we'll wrap it all up by reframing this whole thing as playing the long game. All right, let's kick things off with section 1, the dieting burnout. We're about to unpack why so many people feel completely stuck in this loop. This right here is the exhaustion we're talking about. It's that mental weight of tracking every single calorie, fighting off cravings, and basically rearranging your entire life, only to watch the results disappear the second you can't keep up with that perfect, rigid system. You start to think your willpower is the problem, but, it almost never is. Does any of this sound familiar? You hop from one trend to the next. You did the keto thing. You tried intermittent fasting. Maybe you even had a phase where you brought a food scale everywhere. Every single one of them promises to be the one, the magic bullet. But as our source points out, they almost always end the exact same way, with you feeling defeated. And I'm going to say it again. This isn't a personal failure. It's a completely predictable pattern. And that pattern of failure leads us right into our second section, the prescription problem. This is really the core idea of this whole explainer. The problem isn't you. It's the one-size-fits-all model of dieting that's set up to fail. So this is what we're up against. The prescriptive model is when you walk into an office and someone hands you a piece of paper, a generic meal plan, and just says, eat this. It's a top-down command that treats your life like it's a perfectly controlled lab experiment. But life isn't that simple, is it?
Oof. This quote from registered dietitian nutritionist Alison Duffey, it just cuts right to the chase. She calls these plans what they are, a guess. Because, think about it. How could a generic plan ever work if the person who made it doesn't know about your job, your kids, your budget, or your relationship with food? It just can't. It's practically designed to fail from the start. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. The old way is a simple transaction. It's all about rules. But the new model, person-centered care, it's a relationship. It understands that you are the #1 expert on your own life. It actually works with your preferences, not against them, to build something that you can actually stick with.
Okay, so if that old model is broken, what actually works? Well, that brings us to section 3, small changes, big results. We're going to dive into a powerful and honestly a surprisingly simple idea called incrementalism. And this is the whole secret. Forget the 30-day transformation. The real goal here is to make changes that are so small, so manageable, that they almost feel, disappointing, like you're not doing enough. That's the sweet spot. We're talking about changes that don't need some massive surge of willpower because they're designed to eventually become automatic. So how does it work? It's really this simple. First, you pick one tiny thing. Maybe it's just drinking one more glass of water every day. That's it. And you do just that until you don't even have to think about it anymore. Then, and only then, do you add another small habit on top of it. It's about building a solid foundation, brick by tiny brick. And if you're sitting there thinking, yeah, but small changes don't matter, look at this number. Research from the American Heart Association shows that losing just 3 to 5% of your body weight can lead to huge, clinically meaningful health benefits. We're talking better triglycerides, better blood sugar, and a lower risk of heart disease. The takeaway is massive. You don't need a radical transformation to see radical health improvements. This slide really just nails the mindset shift. We're trading that flashy but super temporary goal of transformation for the steady, permanent power of traction. See, traction isn't about a big reveal. It's about the quiet, compounding interest of all those small, consistent wins that build a foundation for life. Okay, so maybe you're sold on this whole new approach, but who do you actually turn to for help? And that brings us to a really important section, why credentials matter. We have to talk about how to find a real expert in this incredibly noisy world of wellness advice. I mean, this is the big question, right? The internet is absolutely flooded with health coaches and nutrition gurus. But real medical nutrition therapy is a science. And getting advice from the wrong person isn't just ineffective, it can be genuinely harmful. This is probably one of the most important slides to understand. The title nutritionist is often completely unregulated. In a lot of places, literally anyone can call themselves that. But a registered dietitian nutritionist, or an RDN, that is a legally protected credential. It means they have an accredited degree, they've done over 1,000 hours of supervised clinical training, passed a national board exam, and have to keep up with continuing education. As you can see, the difference in qualifications is just massive. And look, this isn't just about titles. It is a public health issue. These credentials protect people from dangerous misinformation. They ensure the care you get is actually based on science. This is crucial for preventing the worsening of conditions like eating disorders. And here's some good news. As our source material notes, many insurance plans now cover services from an RDN, which makes getting expert, personalized care more accessible than ever, especially with telehealth. And that brings us to our final section, where we're going to tie all of this together. It's called playing the long game. This is about cementing a mindset for a lifetime of health, not just a 30-day challenge. So let's bring it home. Sustainable health, it's not like winning the lottery. It's more like a savings account. It's all about the quiet, compound interest you earn from consistent, modest effort. Every small, good decision you make is another deposit, slowly building a foundation of health that is strong enough to last a lifetime. So I want to leave you with this final thought. What if we all just decided to stop chasing that dramatic before and after picture? What if, instead, we started celebrating the slow, steady, and permanent progress of building habits that actually stick? What if the real goal was never transformation, but a lifetime of traction?
I stopped trying to find a doctor who would listen, and I did this instead. For years, I was doing everything right. Eating clean, exercising, getting 8 hours of sleep, but I was still exhausted. I had constant brain fog, and my hormones felt completely out of whack. Every doctor told me my labs were normal, and it was probably just stress. I was about to give up until I found Holistic Health. It's a free AI wellness tool trained by functional medicine experts. I spent 5 minutes answering questions about everything: my symptoms, my sleep, my digestion, and it built me this. And this was the light bulb moment. It didn't just give me a list of problems, it connected the dots. It showed me how my gut health was likely impacting my hormones and how that was causing the fatigue and the brain fog. It even gave me a clear list of potential root causes, supplements to research, and even the specific lab tests to ask for. Its tip is secure. Over 77,000 people have used it, and it's 100% free to get your blueprint. If you feel like you're not being heard, start here. Understand your body first and then decide your next step.